Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. October 16th, we are here to kick off our fifth town hall meeting for the XRPL community. I'm David Peary. I'm the president of XRPL Commons. We're here in Paris and joined by many community members from everywhere, in Germany, the Netherlands, Greece, the US, UK, and I hope many more. We're also live on Twitter. No, we're not live on X. I got a feedback that the sound does not work on X. We will record this town hall anyway and make sure it's available afterwards while the team is working on getting the sound streamed to X live. This is live. So it's been a while since our last town hall meeting. I think the last one was right after Apex, June. So there's a lot to catch up on. I'll give you just a gist of what we're going to go over. In July, we had our bootcamp in Paris, the Core Developer Bootcamp. I think Denis is going to give us an overview of what we did and the impact. More recently, we launched the GLOW program to support open source contributions to XRPL Ledger ecosystem. We had a bunch of meetups during the summer. We met with the community in Cannes during EthCC. Along with PeerCat, we organized a meetup there, announced the launch of with Peersyst, we announced the launch of the EVM sidechain at a wonderful time in Cannes, met with the Ethereum ecosystem too. We had a summit in Malta. I think it was a great experience for the community to meet up in Malta, organized by BFAMP and other folks there. Later on, there was a super event organized by Panos and the Anodos team in Thessaloniki, where they are currently building a hub. Panos, more on that later. We had a great workshop in Munich with the Technology University of Munich, where for the third time we partnered with them for the TUM Blockchain Conference. And last weekend, Saturday, we were on a train at 6 a.m. to go to Lyon to support the Cryptosphere Student Association for a great event with a bunch of crypto people from France. So yeah, a lot happened this last 3-4 months. And here in Paris, we also launched a new cohort for the Aquarium. Some of you may already be familiar with this program. It's our residency for builders that just kick off. We call it the Aquarium DeFi #2. It's the second time we work on DeFi concept, how to create value from XRP. And I think it's a very hot topic at the moment. We also launched, we welcome our first in-house researcher here at Commons, working on interoperability and a few, among other things. So that's a pretty packed summer that we had. And with that, we can see the enthusiasm of the community early September with the recent announcements, the amendments that are coming or just came to the XRPL. And so, our mission stays the same. We're here to support the community. We're here to support the builders, entrepreneurs, developers, researchers, corporate innovators to really thrive in the XRPL community and bring this community together. The more connections we make, the stronger this community is. So we're not the only one to do that. I want to send kudos to also the other community builders out there in Korea, Japan. Hopefully the next town hall meeting will have more representatives of the community building, smaller group of people here. And with that, I'm going to leave the floor to Luc, maybe to go over GLOW. I think there's been a lot of positive vibes around GLOW and its announcement. So maybe you want to tell us a word about it.
Yeah, so we're really excited. Earlier this month, we launched GLOW, which is a retroactive funding program, first of its kind in our ecosystem. It is designed to reward people that have been contributing to the ledger, documentation, and interesting conversations, building projects, making tools available to the community, free tools available to the community, and haven't been really recognized. And so it's meant to elevate those people. The way it works is, well, so it's been open for about 2 weeks, this cohort, and it will go until the end of the month, roughly. It's open for voting. You can go directly to this link, check out the current nominations. We have another batch of nominations that are in the pipe as well. There's ways to elevate people. If you know of people that should be on this list or should be considered for the GLOW program, please let us know. There's ways to do that. You can find those links on socials. And it is open for voting. So you can vote. All you need is an active wallet, and you can vote for your favorite project for those individual contributors that have made a difference in your lives. And you can pass the baton forward or share the love. Yeah, I would just add, it's an completely open source project, so you can see every single all the mechanics of it are described in our documentation. You'll find that at the bottom of that landing page. So if you have any questions, start there, and by all means, we're happy to discuss and interact with the community about this program and how we can make it even more helpful in the future.
Thanks. And I also wanted to say a few words about the upcoming community magazine. So this is actually the first time you can see the cover of the new magazine. So the online launch will happen on the 28th October, so just in 2 weeks. And then we will also host a physical launch party in Paris on the 12th of November. And it's a combined edition focusing on both AI and gaming. So super excited to finally reveal all the amazing content that the community has worked on over the past months. And yeah, keep an eye out on the launch on the 28th. And without further ado, let's get into the updates from the community. So first, I don't know if we have Denis with us.
Denis is here.
Yes, hello, everyone. So I guess I'll just go into it about the bootcamp. So this summer we did a 2-week course on XRPL core development. I think we had 16 or 20 students. It started out with sort of learning the protocol and sort of a basic understanding of the XRPL ledger. And by the end of it, we sort of went fully into the code. At some points we were going line by line through the code. One really important, the most I got out of it actually was learning a little bit about consensus that I didn't already know. And so one of the exercises for 2 days is we went through step by step through the consensus process, each step of it, learning what each one of these does. And then what comes after that, what comes before that. So I actually learned a little bit about the consensus mechanism a little bit more. And, I think, overall, I think a lot of the students got value from it. I do still see a couple community members continuing to develop. And one of the big things I like about that is I see a specific community member doing a lot more with standalone. Running a standalone environment to test on. It definitely, like, it's sort of the separation between like a novice or a beginner developer and an intermediate developer. So seeing those things is really awesome. Those are things that took me a year to sort of figure out, and that's what people are already doing after a 2-week course. So I think it was overly successful. I'm excited to do it again. And I think there's going to be more to come.
There is going to be more to come. We're really committed to scaling that program, hopefully online, for more people to contribute and participate. But also, I think the in-person experience was fantastic. So we might next year do it again in the summer, either here in Paris or somewhere else.
Okay, moving on. I'll ask Panos to share a few words and updates about Anodos.
Hi, everyone. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, hi, this is Panos from Anodos Labs, and I'm excited to share with you our latest developments. So, first is Anodex. We have completed and launched Anodex V2 and created a user-friendly place for people to interact with all things DeFi and XRPL, from swaps, bridging, on-off ramps to AMM liquidity management, and the portfolio dashboard for easy XRPL account management. Then next, we also announced Ether last month, which is under development right now, and will be our infrastructure backbone for our products, Anodex and our upcoming neobank. But we also want to expand it into an essential middleware layer between XRPL and developers, with its core purpose being the complete abstraction of any blockchain and XRPL development complexity, and providing for the first time a plug and play and a unified API to do anything on XRPL. So our goal for Ether is to serve as a crucial gateway to enable new projects to build and thrive on XRPL. Then next is Anodos Wallet, which is coming very soon, and this will be powered by passkeys and MPC technology. And the goal is to, again, abstract any complexities around, for example, wallets and onboarding into XRPL, and allowing anyone to create an account in seconds, securely, and without all the complexities that we know. And finally, we have like the Anodos Hub, which last month we announced our plans to open an XRPL-focused hub in 2026 here in Greece, with a goal to attract more talent, developers, startups, and collaborate with local universities and governments, and expand the reach and use cases of the XRPL ecosystem. So,
tell us more about the hub.
I mean, it's still like in the early stages. Like it's still an idea for now, but we're still like doing things to like find the right place, communicate with the local government here, with the mayor. Probably we can get some like help from the government to like make this a huge place for not just like I mean, we're imagining not just like a co-working space, but also like a place where people will come and just complete their ideas, expand their ideas, create like potentially like a new startup, and hopefully to see more real world use cases built on the XRP ledger, and especially combined with Ether and what we're doing to provide them all these tools to build easily and expand their ideas. So yeah, I hope to like share more news about that in the near future.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next up we have Peersyst, and also if you have any questions to any of the speakers, feel free to write it in the chat or on X if you're watching the live stream. And yeah, we will have time at the end for a Q&A, so we will address all the questions.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here, seeing a lot of familiar faces. Today, as always, I'm going to talk a little bit about the XRPL EVM. I think this is a good timing because we've launched the XRPL EVM, as David mentioned it, in Cannes. So it's been essentially 1 quarter since mainnet its life. It's about 3 months and 15 days. And I've tried to wrap up a little bit what happened during this first quarter of the chain being live, so we can share, discuss, and see what's missing, see what we've done good, and overall, how is the ecosystem. So if you can pass the slide, essentially we will talk about 3 things, which is the network health, the governance, the protocol adoption, and then a little bit of a sneak peek of the next steps that we are working on. Yeah, so in terms of network health, this is one of the most important things, because when you launch a chain on mainnet for first time, this is what you care more about, right? Like make sure no one is losing funds and everything it's working fine and everything it's up to date. To be fair, it's been a challenge because obviously having a chain in production, it's a pharaonic project in general. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the team. We had all the services, more than 99.9% uptime and with good condition. So this chain essentially has been reliable and available for everyone without any loss or without any downtime, which I think this is already a very good update. No attacks found, or at least identified. Some of the issues we got initially was with the interoperability. We still have some of them. We are essentially solving them by paying more on relaying. But we've had issues with the private RPCs on Cosmos chains. We've partnered with CryptoCrew. They run private infrastructure for us. And in the next months also, we are going to put some kind of discount fees for relaying. So essentially the interoperability gets cheaper and we can have more people running it. And essentially we have redundancy. We also deployed Safe with the help of Palmera. So the official Safe contracts are in place. This is a very important trigger in order to enable important DeFi and important amounts on the chain. So Safe, it's now live and maintained through an official Safe partner. We are also working with Grove. I think Quick Note integration is undergoing. So for people that run the apps there, they will have scalable and private RPCs for them. Some more infrastructure with Range and other tooling in order to grab metrics like the one that I'm going to share today. I think it's very important. And we've been able to identify just one issue in regards of the block max gas, when essentially the network had a misconfiguration initially on the protocol that in some occasions the estimated gas was 400 XRP. So this was found by the guys from Axelar, and we've been able to address that with an expedited proposal. And in less than 24 hours, all the validators voted and we got this solved. So in general, I'm pretty happy because the network is in good condition and health. Everything seems to be under control, and I think it's available and reliable for everyone that is encouraged to build things on top of it. The next slide, please. So in regards of governance, things are also functioning pretty well. This is very attached to the network health, actually. So we still have this advisory board. We are having good participation, and we are being able to solve most of the issues thanks to these entities that help us on a monthly basis in the governance. We took over DevNet, maintaining all the state. So we have this DevNet internally to build. People can still use it, but it's not that recommendable. And with testnet, we expanded to 29 validators out of 32. We are still reserving some slots for very key people that wants to have them. But we've been able to pass expedited proposals, which essentially needs to be voted in less than 24 hours with 88% participation on testnet without previous notice. So I think that was a very good sign of activity. And on mainnet, we are about 13 validators and we've got, I think, 92%. We've passed 9 out of 9 proposals we've put there. So I think the network and the people, it's very active, and the governance is doing well. The network is now generated about 1,000 XRPs per month between validators, and we are seeing an increase over the time as the activity grows. Essentially, Midas XRP made a great job there on increasing this transaction volume. And in terms of protocol adoption, obviously the EVM sidechain launched very organically. So we didn't have any incentive program or any incentive campaign for anyone to build there. For this quarter, I think this is going to change. But for now, I think this is a very good organic start. We've got about 55 applications mapped, more than 4,000 smart contracts deployed, and we've seen applications of all kinds, RWAs, DAOs, NFTs, etc. Obviously, some of them more successful than others, but in general, we are seeing a very good use of the programmability capacities of the chain, which essentially was the main point. The network currently has around 100 million in assets. Probably it's a little bit more. This is the ones we have tracked. There's people that just deploying without, saying anything. So there's more valuable assets out there. But right now it's around 100 million. And This has also created interesting volumes. So for example, on Axelar, XRP has created a volume in the last 30 days of $137 million and a total of around 400 million since the launch. And the first 3 months was 360. So as you can see with the trends on the last 30 days, this is still growing. And let's see where we can go. But XRP is now one of the major assets transferred via Axelar all across the Web3. And finally, I have to say, in terms of applications, we've seen all of those, but obviously, and I think as everyone was expecting, the top applications or the most relevant ones has been the ones trying to generate yield for XRP and other assets, with Midas XRP from Axelar being clearly the top one, and Strobe Finance also did pretty well, raising a significant amount of money and using the EVM sidechain in order to leverage the lending protocol. So as next steps, very quickly here, the most important thing I'm going to share is we have a proposal now on testnet. It's the biggest upgrade we've ever done, even in testnet or devnet. We are moving from Evmos to Cosmos EVM. This is fantastic because essentially Evmos was an unmaintained dependency. So it was Ethereum 2 years ago, for you to figure out. With Cosmos EVM version, we will be in the latest version of Ethereum. So a lot of DeFi infrastructure required in different updates like Cancun or Denver, that, for example, allows you to deploy Morpho vaults that are the trend right now to manage DeFi will be there. So this will also help us be very aligned with the Cosmos and with the Ethereum ecosystem, being able to push upgrades much more faster than 2 years on all these APs. And there's a blog post on Peersyst X that shows the what's included, but also there's a very large list of extended functionality, including also RC20s that you guys can have a look. So this is going to be live on mainnet, we expect, in about 4 weeks. If it passes on testnet and everything, it's fine. We will propose to mainnet. It's 2 weeks voting. So we hope by the end of November, this will be live on mainnet, and hopefully this also make a next step also for the DeFi explosion on the XRPL ecosystem.
Thank you, Ferran.
I think there's a question from Bet.
Yeah. So yes, question from Bet.
Yes.
I don't think.
Yeah, real quick. Ferran, I would really love to see you guys double down on the assets brought to the XRP ledger through the EVM sidechain and the products that are created there, because I believe this is where the leverage is, that these complex products cannot easily be created on the XRP ledger because of the lack of smart contracts, and they have a huge success on the XRPL. So it would be really cool to get even more of these to the XRP ledger, maybe even from other chains that are very popular, like Gold and so on. That would be actually really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think like one of the best things, as we've seen with Midas and Strobe, is that they can issue initially the asset on the XRPL EVM with the complex smart contract, but then they bridge it to mainnet and people just swap it on mainnet on the XRPL DEX, and they have access to assets that require some logic that will not be possible right now with the state of the XRP ledger. So if you have some of those in mind, but let us know. The Axelar team, it's very quickly on deploying those. We just let them know, and they put it on Squid and they put it on the Axelar protocol. So let us know. They are very open to do that.
Thank you. And now our final speaker is Peter from Centigrade.
Hi, Peter Rosberg, the CTO of Centigrade, and I also have Clay Graham on the call to help answer questions. He's our blockchain architect. Since this is our first time at Town Hall, I thought I'd do a little intro of what Centigrade is, and then I'll talk about our progress. So Centigrade is powering the next generation of carbon credits, environmental credits, biodiversity credits, and we really focus on data. So we digitize existing methodologies that are normally stored in hundreds of pages of PDF documents into something that's a machine readable and easy to digest summary of the project to speed up RFP responses, due diligence, and just to prove that those carbon credits exist and are valid. Next slide. As you may know, if you attended any of our sessions or saw our video that was posted recently, the environmental assets are a great real-world asset use case. Carbon credits require transparency. They require a lot of documentation. The issuance and the data behind it is very important because we're not dealing with a physical product. We're dealing with either sucking molecules out of the air or preventing molecules from going into the air. So we just have to prove with data that these things exist. Also, there's a real problem with environmental assets like carbon credits, where in the past, some dubious programs have sold those credits more than once, claiming we're selling a tree being planted multiple times, or selling cook stoves being deployed that weren't actually deployed. So blockchain was a great solution for that. Next slide. So we were super excited at Centigrade when the MPT amendment came up. As a background, I used to be head of carbon markets product for Ripple. So this has been a long time coming for me. And then a couple of years ago, I moved over to Centigrade. So I was super excited to see this finally taking fruition on chain. Why do we like MPT so much? Well, they provide an additional level of data that we didn't have before. So we can put a lot more metadata in, issuance status. We have URIs that point to project data stored on IPFS, and also project data stored on the Centigrade website itself for more dynamic data that doesn't need to be immutable. Also, Centigrade does leverage NFTs. We use them to document both the minting of the carbon credits and the retirement of credits. You can get an NFT enumerating the specific IDs of the carbon credits that you have retired. For those of you that don't know how carbon credits work, a carbon credit is issued, but it doesn't really count to offset your emissions until you do what's called retired. So in the blockchain world, that would be called burning. So that credit is forever now committed to offsetting whatever your emissions are. Trading credits is great, but until that thing gets retired, you're not really doing anything good for the environment. So we issue an NFT for that. Finally, some of the MPT stuff that allows like soul-bound credits, retirement flows, and also enhanced payment flows are being leveraged by Centigrade. So with that, now that you know what Centigrade is, what's been our roadmap? Well, in Q2, we actually did a proof of concept testing on MPT. We had originally done tokenization using standard tokens on the XRPL. So we took all that code and moved it over to leveraging MPT as a solution. Q3, which we just completed, was our initial development, porting that code over. And we have it all up and running and complete on DevNet. We demoed this. I don't know if our video the demo that we did to the last cohort for the XRPL Foundation is available, but you can see Clay walking people through how that all works. And then we've got a couple blog posts up. Maybe I can get links posted to this group later, but that go through what our flow looks like and everything else.
Peter, they can also email Clay at Centigrade.earth if they want it. I'm happy to send it to them.
Cool. And then finally, the new development that's going to be happening. So wiring that code up to testnet and devnet, sorry, that's a typo. Testnet and production. So that way we can have our development environment doing all the test transactions on testnet, and then have it be live. And then finally, Q1 2026, we should be ready for a full beta version. that will also be providing limited inventory management. If you see that demo that Clay did, you'll see how our inventory management systems work for carbon credits. That's it. I think we're doing Q&A at the end, but if anybody has any questions, like Clay said, you can send to Clay at Centigrade.earth or Peter at Centigrade.earth with more questions.
I think.
No, thank you.
Thank you. We were mute. Really cool to see MPT, the new amendment being used by new companies. I mean, you've been around for a while, but it's good to see you coming out of the building phase. I think some other companies have been using MPTs. I heard of Forstock. We met with them a few months ago, and they also were working on MPTs. Liquido, I read recently about them. More are probably coming. We're happy to add all these new use cases and new companies joining the XRPL ecosystem or building with the XRPL on the ecosystem map. So feel free to submit new projects and new use cases to XRPL Commons. We'll add them to the ecosystem map. And as an item on our roadmap, the ecosystem map will be totally open to the community to contribute. And we already have all the back office done, so it should be a matter of weeks before we can do that. But we'll let the ecosystem really get their hands into the ecosystem map to make sure we have the most up-to-date information. I think we had also a couple of updates from Denis. If you are if you're ready to just go over the latest updates of Zaman. We've seen a bunch of new versions coming up, and some new features that are really cool, like removing the need for a trust line when sending tokens or batch transactions being implemented. Can you just give us a quick update of what you guys have been working on? And I think the community is excited.
Of course, sure. So at Zaman, we are feature complete. So the last few amendments that have gone into effect, credentials, we have implemented. Also, a tricky part of that was credentials with deposit authorization. So you can now send a payment and include a credential in the regular in-app flow. So that's super important. Not just being able to cultivate your own transactions, but making sure that we keep up to date with the regular send flow inside of the app, where you're just right next to somebody and you want to send them something, but in this case you have a credential, so you need to add that. So we added that, and then I think one of the more recent ones was MPTs. So MPTs are fully integrated, and again, I believe that's built right into the regular workflow. So if you had an MPT and you wanted to send it to somebody, you could do it right in the app. Obviously, as an integrator, you can also, or as a developer integrating Zaman, you can absolutely include it there in your payload cultivation. One of the trust lines were a little while ago, in my opinion, but one of the things that we did do was we took a focus of trying to, in the app, not have to add the trust line. And there's a couple functions that allow us to do that, or transactors checks, or what allow us to do that really is you can create a check for someone, and if they don't have the trust line, when they go to cash the check, they will add a trust line with a 0 limit. And so that allows you to send, you have to know the destination, but you can send that destination a token, RLUSD if you wanted to, or any of the other ones. And then finally, I think yesterday was released that we're finishing up batch. Batch is definitely one of those amendments that really sort of, it really changes the flow of everything. So, instead of one transaction, you view multiple transactions and swipe once. I think we're still deciding on exactly the flow. But trying to make it as client friendly as possible, but also, maintaining the structure of Zaman. And then I think that's it. Other amendments, we are feature complete and we will remain feature complete. So those integrations, as as these amendments come up for voting, we implement them into the Zaman app, and then we push the release. So hopefully that continues to run as smooth as it has ran in the past. And I think we do a really good job of staying relatively up to date.
Yeah,
Thank
well, the work, I mean, the work that the engineering team at Zaman is doing is literally huge, and we see how it improves, collectively the XRPL experience. And I find it really interesting that it took so long to find this workaround for just line, but I think it improves a lot the experience, and we've seen a lot of good feedback on it. There are a couple of questions, I think, from Clay or Beth. Clay, do you want to go first?
Yeah, there are situations where, well, specifically, we found that there was less friction in our flow around MPT in our use cases. Are you finding any reduction in friction in flow in some of the use cases by moving to MPT, or in most of your use cases, it's kind of the identical types of approval steps and that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, I don't develop integrations for third parties at the moment. So I don't have any MPT use cases that I could draw on. From a development point of view, it was supposed to reduce those frictions. You don't necessarily need a trust line. However, you do have to authorize the holder of the token. So we're back into the same sort of scenario where one of the goals is just to avoid dusting, to avoid and it's not just dusting, but it's a true financial liability. Like, you can't send me tokens that I didn't approve of. Like, I could get in a lot of trouble for that. So that is sort of the realm that we sort of stay in, is that a person needs to approve that. So I don't know if there's less friction. I definitely agree that it's a cool tool, because you have the ability to add metadata right onto it. There's a central location for the token, right? And that's the issuance. And you can add information onto that. I think you have a data field and a URI field. So you can really pack in what you want there. So I think that's the added benefit. But I haven't seen anything as far as friction.
Yeah, that's actually the key benefit that we're using around it. Well, also the fact that the way it behaves as an aggregate value, you can send any kind of value as a single send. So that's kind of helpful. And we do take advantage of metadata extensively, so that the provenance is tied back to the token itself, as well as the burn. We can actually track burn. So,
Dennis, you said about the dusting. Why is it not possible with the dusting? Is it because of the floating point?
No, I mean, the dusting is just like you sending somebody else your token, right?
spamming people
Yes.
with tokens.
Yeah, spam.
Yeah.
But that is possible if we both have the same authorized for the MPT, no?
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. Isn't that you authorize it? The point is that you hold something that you didn't approve of, right? So in that case, yes, once you hold it. But I think the blocker is like, I issue a token and then I send it to every single person on the ledger, right? I don't believe you could do that with MPTs as well. I think you still
No, it's not.
have
It's
to.
not like an IRC20, right? Where you can,
Right,
on
exactly.
the EVM, you can just like airdrop. There's no airdrops, right? You opt in for, yeah.
That's what I meant.
I
Good
think
stuff.
the reduction in friction we were talking about, though, is that after you say, I'm okay with it, you don't have to keep reapproving, and you don't have to track the total amounts that are being sent back and forth like you do for trust lines. So that's where it's simpler for us.
Mm.
We also have some questions from the community. So first, a question regarding Glow. Where can people suggest projects, and where can we find an overview of what types of projects are eligible for Glow?
Want to take it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so to suggest, I mean, I hate to share a link on a space like this. So, it's hard to share a link, but I can say it. It's XRPL at /suggest_glow. You can find that link on our social. So much easier to do it that way. And then as far as, was there another question?
Yeah, what specific type of projects are
just an
is
overview
Glow
of
supporting?
eligibility.
Sure. So we're aiming to support majority infrastructure projects, open source projects, any kind of tooling that's made available to the community for free, basically. That hasn't otherwise been paid for. Say if if it's part of your job to build a tool, then that wouldn't qualify. So we're looking for people who contribute in a selfless way, essentially. To summarize, a lot more detail you can find on the documentation page, which is at the bottom of the Glow landing page. You can click on that documentation page, and there's a whole section on project eligibility, and you can go into you'll have all the details there.
I may just add a few things here. Glow has been a project we've been working on for a year now, trying to figure how to patch the hole in the racket. There are some gaps where some developers feel not supported or not encouraged to contribute, and either you have to be a full-time developer working for a company in the ecosystem, and you rewarded, paid for that, or we wanted to find a way to incentivize developers to keep building. A lot of the developers in the community are building selflessly just because they enjoyed for the thrill of it or for being part of the community. There are many ways people contribute to open source projects, but at the end of the day, it's also a good way to build loyalty. And we want to grow this community on the base, on a solid base. And so this is an experiment. We met with people don't really know that behind the scene all the blockchains talk to each other. We meet every time in different places of the world with the same people who are representing other blockchains. And so everyone is asking like, oh, okay, is your grant program working? What's the new idea? How do you innovate in supporting your developers? And I think a good practice is to first identify the people who are consistent in the community, who keep building. We're not just there for a one-time contribution, but and once we identify them, try to bring the community in showing support, showing appreciation for them. So this idea of bringing the voting mechanism to Glow, it was important for us. So everyone in the community can vote, but we have a let's say a scouting system where all the suggestions will be looked at, but only the projects that are eligible to Glow will be put on the platform. And it's wave-based. So right now we have the first wave. I think it's still called September wave, and we're in October. Thank you, Arthur, for pointing that out. But basically, wave 1 will last about a month, and then we'll roll over to wave 2. So the project that have been submitted for wave 1 and haven't been rewarded can still be in the competition for the next wave, and so on. And the more suggestion we have, the more projects we can reward. But that is true that we've been flooded with projects that were definitely not eligible, either not building on XRPL or not open source or free. So we really want to make sure that in the first waves, we focus on the open source tooling and projects that really enable the ecosystem. There was another question that I saw regarding the magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Contribute to the magazine.
Yes, so you can reach out at mag@xrplcommons.org. We will write the email in the notes in the chat, and also you can reach out on X to XRPL Commons if you have an idea for a pitch. We also currently have ongoing meme prompt generator contest for the upcoming magazine, which you can also find on our X. But I'm always looking for community contributions, and I'll guide you through the process of how to make an article for the magazine. So yeah, for the upcoming magazine, we have all the content finalized now. But for the one after, we are in the process of looking for contributions. So feel free to reach out. Yeah.
There is a question that comes from X. Is there plans to launch RLUSD on the EVM sidechain? Maybe Ferran, you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. So I know the Real USD team, it's looking into that. I think it's requiring regulatory approval from New York. So we've been updating the docs accordingly to just specify things a little bit more and make more clarity and confidence for them. But yeah, I think it's more than a legal topic. I think they have the intention to, but to be honest, I don't know how hard it's to get the regulatory approval. I hope we can see it natively over the next few months.
Great. Question for Peter Rosberg from Centigrade. On the first slide, I saw that DMRV was included. Could you please tell us if you are including data stored on-chain in the DMRV process?
Yeah, so currently most of our DMRV data is stored with our existing partner on the Centigrade .earth website. But literally yesterday we were talking with a customer that has a mechanism for storing DMRV data on chain that they would like us to explore. Also, the GBBC IWA, I know that's a lot of acronyms, the Global Business Blockchain Organization has a working group that has been working on DMRV, and they just came out with their version 3 standard. So we're taking a look at that to see. That has a lot of guidance on what level of DMRV data would be stored on chain. There's a lot of data in DMRV, so for storing an immutable record, you probably want to just store like summaries of that information. But yeah, we are looking at. Yep, go ahead.
We also do links, like we'll do an on-chain link back to IPFS, like same as an NFT pattern, right? So that's a common pattern also. So it's immutable, but it isn't on-chain. So that's a second pattern we use.
Yeah, but I'd encourage, if you're interested in the DMRV, the new IWA standard just came out, and I can probably get that URL and post it in the chat here as well.
We have another question from Kevin, Creepinwriter. Good to see you, Creepinwriter. So the question is addressed to Ferran. The question has disappeared.
Oh, it's in the chat. It's in the chat.
Yeah,
it's here. With the upcoming major upgrade to V9, will this also help lower the latency for GMP on Axelar? Or in other words, will it help make the cross-chain experience a little bit faster and less costly?
I don't think so. I don't think so. The bottleneck for the GMP is not on the EVM sidechain or in the XRP ledger. I think it's the way Axelar works. Essentially, if there is 30 parties that are validating this GMP, they need to do 30 plus signatures. So it's an scalability essentially of the protocol of Axelar. Maybe if we reduce the block time, we will do the signature on the sidechain from 5 to 4 seconds, but it's like there's no optimization there. It's Axelar itself.
Thank you. Honest answer. Any more questions? Either on X or on Zoom? Okay.
No, at the moment. But yeah, if there's more questions that come in, we can still answer them while we go over our upcoming events.
Yes.
So yeah, these are some of the upcoming events where XRPL Commons will be either present or that we are organizing. So Ripple Swell coming up in November, part of our team will be there and would be excited to connect with the community. Then we also have, right after Swell, a session online on blockchain and AI this session will be hosted on X by XRPL Commons and Gen3 Labs together. So similar concept to the town hall, but more informal and yeah, just hearing from a lot of projects in the space. And this also coincides with the launch of the magazine around blockchain and AI. Then we're going to Rome in November. So these are right after each other, these events, where we are organizing a hackathon on November 7th and 8th. And you can find more info about that on our website.
Maybe just on that,
yeah.
we hosted yesterday with the team of the Association of Cryptographers in Italy. Massimiliano Sala is the president, is a renowned cryptographer in Italy, and we had 37 cryptographers. They don't even call themselves cryptographers; they call themselves mathematicians, who discussed for the whole day about post-quantum cryptography and how it will impact XRP Ledger. Very, very interesting, very technical. I don't think the town hall is the right place to share the outcomes, but we will do takeaways and share that on our website. But it is really interesting to see the level of the community in Italy, and it's the second time we go to Italy. Some of you were with us last time. So if you are interested in advanced cryptography and want to be challenged during a hackathon, Roma is a great experience to live.
Yeah, and one of our highlight events of the year will be the residency demo day of our currently ongoing cohort, which will be on December 10th in person in Paris. So we recommend if you can attend this event. It's one of the biggest events for Commons. So yeah, and finally we also have Odelia with us.
Yeah, hi Jofi, thank you. Hi everyone, great to see you. Greetings. So the last thing we want to conclude with is one of the projects that we've been working on the last few weeks, which is DeFi on XRPL. So we've been working together with our partner Atka to basically conduct a report analysis to further understand, explore and map different types of, from one side, building block solutions and applications that exist on the XRPL for DeFi. And from the other side, also identify the gaps, any lessons learned, and any opportunities that we can identify for future developments. This analysis also includes the EVM sidechain. So we also work with Ferran and his team on that. And basically the ask from you guys is to share your inputs. So you have here a QR for 3 very short questions to basically learn from you. What are the killer applications you see in DeFi across different protocols? What are the essential building blocks that you think are worth including? Where are the opportunities? What do we need to do better in order to scale and basically help us lay the ground and the foundation for the basically next generation of DeFi on XRPL? So again, your inputs are highly appreciated. If you have any further inputs, questions, remarks that you would like to include with us and share, please do circulate it with us. We're very open and keen to learn your inputs on that. Thank you very much. Over to you, Jofi.
Thank you, Delia.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's all for today.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone. I think this ritual of gathering everyone. I've heard a few comments from community members saying it's always the same people. So I would say 2 things. First, it's good to be consistent. Having the same people over and over shows commitment, and we're very happy to follow along your journey in the XRPL world. But also, we're very open to inviting new builders, new people contributing to the ecosystem. So it's definitely not a closed circle. Feel free to reach out directly on X or by email. Our contacts are on our website. But with that, thank you so much, everyone, for your time, and we appreciate you and your work. We'll see you in the next town hall. Bye.